Ahoy, me hearties, you look upon your Admiral adorable, your very own. Sorry, this pirate stuff is already getting to me. Fearless, before we carry on and maybe complete all that we can do in the story section of Port Royal for the moment, number one, probably makes the most sense to get rid of one of Jack's draws. Oh, wait, I can't. Oh, right, because we ditched him. One of Jack's draws in favor of one of the other skills he had. I forget which one I wanted. I was about to be able to check, but then I forgot that he's not presently in our party. And number two, just before we do carry on with that, it only occurred to me in editing that they were all like, was it Pain and Panic who said to us, they were all like, why don't you just go help your friend? No, it was Orin who said, why don't you go check on your friends? When we were talking about the Colosseum and stuff. And then I didn't. So I don't know if there's no episode added here, so if there's anything more going on here, it's not probably going to be much, but they told us to go help our friends, so let's go try talking to them and seeing if anything happens. No, this all seems the same. Never mind. Back to pirates. Defender is the skill I wanted, that's right, for Jack. So priority one is getting Elizabeth back to Port Royal, but this is a little different than how it happened in the film, because in the film, this is around the time Will breaks the curse such that Barbossa can actually be shot in the chest and killed. But I guess they thought that was maybe a little intense for Kingdom Hearts also, so not for now. So I guess we were gonna speak to Will as he sails. We'd better get back to Port Royal. We should be safe there. Okie dokie. So do I understand you're not in favor of returning to Ile de Muerto? Yes, that's so. On the east there, is that maybe meant to be like the pirate haven in Tortuga? It doesn't quite look like it. I'm not sure where that is, but it looks like a place we'll be going later. Because right now, Port Royal. Oh, right, and there are pirates and stuff on the way. Of course, how do you think it would be impossible to forget? Oh, they're in the one spot of shadow. No, Donald and Goofy, let them draw into the light. They were very explicit about this. Yeah, avast ye scurvy dogs ye. You'll be on the point of me key before the end of tonight. Arr ye hearty. I didn't get a code Admiral by running from ye scurvy dogs such as ye. Yeah, well, please come into the moonlight. Okay, or casually go over to that moonlight. I guess that works also. Encounter complete.
Is it true? You gave Barbossa my name instead of yours. Why choose my name?
I don't know.
Elizabeth, where did you get that?
You're full of questions today, aren't you, Will?
From that day we found you, drifting at sea.
After all this time, I thought I lost it. It was a gift from my father. He sent it to me.
Send it?
I'm sorry.
Oh, from Davy Jones' ship, duh.
Why did you take it?
Because I was afraid that you were a pirate. That would have been awful.
Of course. Don't you see? It wasn't your blood they needed. It was my father's blood. My blood. The blood of a pirate.
Interesting. That scene is somewhat similar to some of the ones in
when you sailed
film.
away in my ship and marooned
Out of
me
order,
on
of course.
that godforsaken spit of land with naught but a pistol and a single shot, you forgot one very important thing, mate.
I'm Captain Jack
Jack Sparrow.
Sorry. I promise I'll stop at some point.
I won't be making that mistake.
I love that pirate in the back there. That's the guy who goes, no fair, when he gets blown apart by the bomb.
Untying these ropes and letting me negotiate
He
the
looks
return
amazing
of
in the
your
game.
medallion, eh? What say you to that?
Seeing as how the Black Pearl's mine now, Jack, letting you go doesn't seem to fall within my interest.
Odd. I'm not actually concerned with your interest. Give me back the pearl.
Arr.
He's a little less
All right.
confident
Knock him
in
in
this
the
game,
brain.
ain't he? In the films.
We're coming up on the interceptor. What do we do, Captain?
Pirate just
What
shoved
do
him
you
for no
think,
reason.
you idiot?
Fire. Right, so it's a battle with Barbossa's crew on the way back to Port Royal. A little bit different than how the film played out, for sure.
Will, look!
I sure hope the ship's not going to have a health bar I'm going to have to watch out for with all the Black Pearl's
I wonder what Jack would
cannons.
I'm not sure. I suppose he'd run for it.
do. Sounds good to me.
The interceptor can't match the Black Pearl. Oh, damn.
Everyone hit the deck!
Well, the water's pretty unusually calm for the ocean. We might find him. Or, we might not. Wait, are they shooting us with cannons, or are we going to get hit with Are we? What are we hitting? We hit a reef or something? I don't know why we were getting rocked. Also, the Black Pearl looks a lot more green, like the Flying Dutchman in this game, which is kind of funny. Right, we'll have at you. Oh wow, defeat all the pirates while protecting the medallion. Where is the medallion? Does Elizabeth have it? And if so, why is she above deck? While protecting the medallion. I do not know what they mean by that. I presume that means I'm gonna mess it up in a minute here. We're gonna go find it somehow. But all right, protect the medallion. Sure, I can do that. The majority of this area is not bathed in the shade, so our moonlit plan is working all right. Eonk! Oh, that didn't launch you so much. You're a little on the heavy side. I don't mean to be rude, but did they just shoot one of their own pirates with the cannon? Oh, that's what those little spheres are. I see. Ow! Sorry, you got just out of the shade at the wrong time. Oh, thanks, Donald. If you could just draw a little closer, thank you. That's good. Oh, sorry, I knocked you back. Sorry, let's try that again. Oh, I can launch a cannon. At the other ship, will that do anything? The medallion was stolen. Retrieve it quickly. What do you mean? Oh, this one's got it. Okay. I don't know where they got it from. I thought Elizabeth was holding on to it, but all right. If you could get out of that, thank you. Get back out. No. See, keep going back into the shade. That's the thing I don't want. If you could, like, draw way over here. There we go. And I'm just going to whack you in the, direction that is not the shade. There we go. My medallion. It was stolen. Well, I was the one who picked that up, you cheeky mugger. Give that to me. Oh, it just falls on the ground and then we don't pick it up. Is that it? We don't want to touch it. Oh, well, I guess we wouldn't want to touch it because then we'd get cursed. That's fair enough. Although, do Sora and Co know that? I don't know. It's fine. We'll just leave it on the ground there. I'm sure it's good. Although that said, Elizabeth had her paws all over it, so it's a wonder she isn't cursed at the moment. Actually, yeah, now that I think about it in the movie, why wasn't it like that? I guess just because she wasn't a pirate. Like, she didn't go there with the intention of stealing it, so she can't be cursed by it. Right. Am I supposed to be, like, blowing up the other ship, maybe? Let's fire some cannons, why don't we? Fire! That's the swankiest, most overconfident way to fire a cannon, Sora. That one's going for the medallion, but ow! Thanks, Goofy. Oh, never mind, they're not going for the medallion. I guess they were just going over there because they thought it would be fun. Cannon! Fire away! I think we are probably supposed to be bringing in the other ship, you know? Because otherwise, this is taking an unusually long time. Hey, it's this guy again! It's a shame I don't have a bomb to throw at him. Stick in his rib cage while he's all bony. Arrows, pile, draw, and maximum HP. Not that I would do that, of course.
Well,
I
did
just
you?
whack him to bits with my key.
Jack!
Eek!
Now then, I'll be having...
Oh, I do have the medallion. So what was all the nonsense about me not picking it up a moment ago?
Unless it's more important than their lives.
Barbosa! She goes free.
Go
We can have guns and
boy,
cutscenes, it's
shoot.
fine.
We
Look at the
can't
ship in the back
die.
there.
You can't. But I can. My name is Will Turner. My father was Bootstrap Bill Turner. His blood runs in my veins.
They're okay with him holding a gun, just not him pointing at his own neck, like he does in the
On
film.
my word, do as I say, or I'll pull this trigger and be lost at Davy Jones' locker.
Name your terms, Mr. Turner.
Elizabeth goes
Elizabeth.
free.
And Sora,
Yes, we know that
and
one.
Donald, and Goofy too.
Anything else?
Leave, now.
Sorry, Jack.
Agree.
Jack didn't really
Leave we
betray
shall.
Will in this one so much.
But the heartless stay.
Hey, well, we were not done negotiating. What the hell? Oh, God. Did he just clonk Will in the back of the head?
No
Sora,
fair.
grab the gun. Pirates don't be playing fair. They play by their code, not by... What? How did we get caught? Oh, I guess, right, because we can no longer negotiate now that they've caught Will. Good work, Barbosa. Who knew it'd be this easy? Barbosa, you coward! That's the last time I trust a pirate. The powder kegs are ready, Captain. I don't like the sound of that. Then I bid ye farewell. Oh, this is a bad way to die. Battle will get on tour. Oh, my blown to smithereens. Oh, I struggle, mate. Pirate knows when to surrender. No, that's like the one thing a pirate doesn't know. Are you serious, Jack? Your average pirate, anyway. Nice. First we gotta see to the gunpowder. I'm not about to lose this ship. I still don't plan to trust pirates again. Wise policy, lad. Yeah, I mean, really, that was never really a good idea. Right, Captain Jack? As you say, gunpowder is priority 1. But also, you don't need 3 draw. Oh, all of his skills got dequipped. That's weird. I wonder why that is. Anyhow, oh yeah, so Donald just got a draw, which I'm not desperate for now. No, well, I may as well. We've got the AP boosts. That's what they be for. Put that on. And I got, what was it, aerial spiral, something like that? Closing in on far targets in midair and unleashes spinning attacks. Cool, happy about it. We'll see how that works. Oh, okay. There was gonna be like a time limit or something, but we seem totally fine. It's just a bomb. Right, okay, so this is gonna be one of them that probably ends in a subpar direction. They've rigged the ship with explosives. You have to throw them overboard once you get up onto the deck. Is that gonna work? Who knows what else they've done? Please be careful. Well, I'll surely try. Oh, there's gonna be a time limit now, is there? Get rid of the burning barrels, and they've loaded the place up with Heartless, of course. Throw them over deck, how? Oh, just by pressing triangle on them, sure. A yonk. And a Heartless is trying to blow up the barrel. No, 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 not on my watch. I will whack them all away. I don't know how, when it says they're trying to blow up a barrel, what precisely that means. Why is this not doing anything? Can I not do it at the same time that they're hitting? Oh, okay, never mind, I did it anyway. Cool. Item slot for me, HP for Donald, second chance for Goofy, and max HP for Jack. Mission accomplished.
All clear.
Apparently, screw strategy, just run and smack them all.
That's the second time I've had to watch that man sail away with my ship. But I'll be having her back soon enough.
I sure hope you're right. Why are we heading back to Ilha Muerta? To break the curse on them, because we've got the medallion, I guess. No, they took the medallion, surely. You stay with the ship, lass. I'll do no such thing. Will could die in there. Oh, right, no, they're bringing Will back to break the curse. Dear William is fine, trust me. I am not a fool, Jack. Then trust me instead. Sora, Donald, Goofy, bring Will back safely. We'll try. Oh, good God. I don't know about you, friends, but that looks an awful lot like an absent silhouette to me. With a bunch of little daggers. Is that Larxene or, who is this with the daggers? Vexen, maybe? Alright, sorry, Jack. I need Goofy. I can't oh, it won't let me. Well, it doesn't matter. My friends usually don't do a whole lot of damage for these anyway. Okay, I can't promise to beat this one this time. And historically, it would be dumb to even attempt it. But I just want to see if it's the same level of horse malarkey as the previous one. Just give me a few goes on it, okay? This looks like somewhere you'd fight Larxene. Looks a bit like the place we fought her the first time. I don't remember her having daggers, though. I remember her being like a... No, but it's her, alright. Alright, well... No, yeah, she's got, like, knuckles. That's what it is. Right. I thought they were, like... And she kind of does, like, throwing stuff with them here and there, but... Alright, whatever. Let's try this nonsense. I'm gonna go into it with an open mind, okay? That's what I'm going to do. I did kind of miss Larxene, if I'm honest. Oh my god, I'm already almost dead. Okay. It's fine. Okay, she's got a lot of health, more so than your man with the book, which makes sense. So some of her are mirages, and one of her will be the real one, I suppose. Is there a way to know? Or maybe they're all technically her, and damage you do to any of them is damage you do to all of them. Maybe. Could be. Ow. Like I said, I'll give it some goes. So far, at least it just seems difficult to time and everything. It doesn't seem like they're doing any... Oh. It doesn't seem as cheaty as Zexion so far, but of course there's still time. Okay, so we're Ooh, okay. The second I speak, I die. So I don't know if I was hitting the real one there, or if you can hit all of them. Obviously, I gather here that I'm under-leveled and under-skilled for this. Again. But if it's a matter of it's a fair boss fight that is designed coolly, and, like, it's just a matter of I'm just gonna die really fast, like in 1 or 2 hits, I'd much prefer just trying to tank through that anyway. Let's see how blocking works. Yeah, I mean, blocking works fair enough here. I can combo 2 of them into the sky here, and that should give me some... merge! I can slap them together, and they'll turn into one, and then it'll be easier to deal with them, I guess. All right, cool. So you combo them when they're split apart for a while, and you get the opportunity to merge them, which lets you do some damage. Let's give a try at throwing Goofy in here, so I can do Valor mode. I don't know. I don't get the sense Wisdom would be too helpful for this. You kind of need to be able to move fast. This one-shots you at the moment. So there are just 2 of her at the moment. And if I combo one of them for a fair bit of time... But do I have to be comboing both of them at once? Is that the idea? Like I'm doing here. Seemingly, at some point, if you combo one of them for long enough, then you get the opportunity to merge. Let's see if I can figure this out. I'm going to try and hush up a little bit and talk less over this one, though, so that if I do end up getting as stuck in with this one and trying to do it too early. You at least don't have to watch so much of it. Oh, actually, regardless of who I bring, it's Donald and Goofy with me in the actual fight. I wasn't realizing that. With most boss fights in games I do on this channel at all, I would tend to try and talk it through as I learn it. But since I die so quickly on these, it seems to make more sense to just try and learn it quietly on my own, and then I'll report back if I learn anything important. Ow. I died before my commands menu even popped up, because I was waiting for it. This is new. Oh, okay. Jeez. I don't know why that didn't hit me, but alright. Wait, did she merge herself, or is there another one out there? I think sometimes she merges of her own accord. Maybe. Oh, okay, here you go. Although she duplicates herself, they are all her real form. Attack 2 of the duplicates for double damage. I do actually think I need to disable good old aerial slash for this one, because it's making it hard to guard stuff. So one thing I've been told about some of this game's boss fights, it seems pretty arbitrary who this is a feature that works for, is that there's something called a revenge value, where if you combo them a certain number of times in a row, they break out, which is totally fair, because otherwise, the way this game's combos are so bouncy, you would be able to just stomp anyone in seconds. It's a lot more clear in this fight, because in this fight, when you're comboing her and she decides to break out of it, she does an attack that hits you, so it's clearly you've overstepped and gone too far, whereas with Zexion, it was just kind of like, I don't know, he'll twirl away from you and then maybe he'll do the one that puts you all in the book, or maybe he'll just stand there and laugh. Like, it was just totally random. So there was no feedback whatsoever to let you know what you'd done wrong, whereas this one, it's like, you hit her too hard and then she just goes, bah, and you like get struck by lightning and die. So it's like, okay, don't do that, fair enough. I get what I did wrong. So already that system makes so much more sense in this boss than in Zexion. I need to disable my aerial slash, which is called which? Upper slash. Let's grab Goofy his second chance here. As soon as I remember how to count to 4. I also don't remember her splitting it to 2 in the previous game, like Recon. Was that a thing? Or did they just sort of make that up for this one? They're just like, I don't know, she just multiplies or something. Apparently someone punching with lightning knuckle dusters wasn't cool enough for Kingdom Hearts. They were like, she has to split into 2 as well. She can't just have one thing. This is cool. I really like this one so far. It's definitely going to take a lot of concentration to the point that I'm almost definitely not going to be able to speak. But this is already like, this is so much more like a boss fight than the Zexion one was. Because here, she has attacks where she does an animation that makes an attack happen, and you block them, and that is good for you. Instead of it just kind of be like, I don't know, now play some musical chairs. Oh, book hit you from off screen. Oh, but what if you, oh, never mind, your commands are like, oh, tough. Looks like you weren't good enough. This is like, block the attacks and then you'll be okay and you can hit her, you know, like a video game. This is like way more hype, and like I'm like adrenaline filled and shaking already, and I've only gotten past the first health bar. Now they may pull some shenanigans. It's probably too early to call it. Probably when she gets down to 1 health bar, she'll make me play well, I was not ready for that. It'll just make me play Tin Soldier or something. It'll make me play Foursquare like the other one did. But we've learned we can pause to cheat and use limits to cheat harder if we need to. So for now, I'm just going to try and just get the... Well, okay, I know I've died to that twice in a row, but usually I get that one. For now, I'm just going to try and learn the moves, and learn when to block, and learn when to capitalize. But this gives it very clearly telegraphed, either of them, regardless of what move they're doing, they do that thing where they stick one of their arms out and do a little twirl. So that lets you know, I'm about to teleport and do one of the moves. Now you have to know which move it is, because the timings are a little different for them. Whether she does that one or like the big one where she like jumps from up top. Ow. But it's something you can actually deal with at that point. It's not just like, I don't know, maybe she'll be armored and never die. I mean, she's armored for them, but the damage you deal matters, because it's not like just like there's a magic book where you have to use a reaction command on. You're dealing damage to her because she's a boss fight, and every action you take and every action she takes has benefits and drawbacks to it, so you can't just be... It doesn't just want you to spam stuff, because again, this is designed like a video game. There may come a day when I stop throwing shade to the Zexion boss fight, but I don't know, maybe there may not, you know? Even the very wise cannot see all ends. There's a learning curve to when you're allowed to combo both of them, though, that I haven't quite learned. Oh my god! Okay, when she goes invincible like that, I think that means she's about to do this one. Anyway, there's a learning curve I hadn't quite mastered to when is a good time to try and combo both of them at the same time. Because that's kind of what, like, even the pause menu even says. That's kind of what you're wanting to be doing to get double damage on her, but it's not always the smartest thing to go for because you might get caught out being overly aggressive by one of the two. Oh, I was holding down. Oh, but I targeted. I see. So actually, targeting is maybe not the thing you want to always be doing in this boss fight because you always want to be able to, even if you're targeting someone and you run away and hit guard, he turns to face the one you're targeting. So if you target someone, but you know if you target one Larxene and you know the other one's going to come and attack you from behind, and so you want to turn around and guard, you have to break that lock on before you turn around and guard, which is fine by me. Or indeed not have the lock on in the first place. And actually, I'm probably going to try that. I'm going to try avoiding to lock on, because I don't really need it. It's not like they're moving around a whole lot. It's a shame that if you deflect that with your weapon, it doesn't actually benefit you, but so be it. The guard is still pretty effective against it. Actually, you could probably kind of time those two attacks the same way, even though one of them's a little different. If you guard early on, anyway, you catch both of them. Okay, so they're doing something crazy now. We want to be out of the way for. Very careful. Okay, that one. The guard timing is pretty gentle on that one, actually. I know there's just one reverse, so we can just combo her until I feel like I've done enough that she's gonna revenge me. Okay, that was a new attack that I know nothing about. I'm gonna guess you can't block that because it's lightning, but I don't know, maybe. I just gotta be prepared for her to do it. Sorry, we interrupt this regularly scheduled pirating for a secret boss. Look, it wasn't me who decided to put the boss right before the intense confrontation in Pirate Land, okay? That was their idea, and their idea alone. They could have waited till after you defeat Barbossa, and I know I could too. But I want to just give it a few more goes. I may be using the term few incorrectly there. If you see what I mean. Oh, I faced it the wrong way. You know what I like about this so far is that it's not like it's ridiculously hard to block all this. It's just like this, because I'm low level, the stakes are really high. So it feels like my strategy is really important, and like when I choose to go out for all out combos and when I choose to just chain two hits together and like call it that and just chill out a bit. I feel like I have to balance offensive versus defensive play in a really interesting way that I didn't have to in any of the bosses so far, actually. That wasn't very... That was an example of not balancing the play well. You know what, actually, this dodge slash thing isn't working out so much for me, I don't think. Because it makes your basic attack on the ground a little slower, and that's kind of... At least for this fight, it's not really... that's not on for me. I need it to be super zippy, because I need to be able to swap between offense and defense really fast in this. That's much more useful in larger group fights than just two Larxenes. Because, like, it's useful in a group fight against, like, 3 Heartless, because you'll go to hit one, and then the other one will swipe at you, so being able to do the little, like, dodge away and then whack is great. Less so when it's just 2 really intense bosses that I need to be able to quickly go attack and then stop and start blocking. Yeah, that one's pretty easy to jump over, but I reckon the other one won't be. Interesting, though, that she mostly targets... Oh, okay, yeah, no, jumping over that's not an option. She looked so happy. She was like, yeah! I was just about to say, it's interesting that she basically only targets me, though. My friends were able to just keep hitting her during that time. Of course, they do basically no damage, but if I needed to play defensive for any reason, it's nice to know that they can be covering the offense somewhat in that time. Got a chance to merge. I guess because I was calling them both at once. But she has new moves when we're like this, right? That we don't yet fully understand. Okay, I think if any timing were to have blocked that, it would be that. So I suppose without a dodge roll, the only thing I can do is reflect that? I suppose we shall see. I'm sort of loath to believe there's anything that they force you to have mana for at any given time, because that means if you just cured, you're dead, which is weird. But I may as well try reflecting it. Maybe since it's such a huge attack, if I reflect that, it'll like stun her for a bit or something. Okay, well I didn't die. That's a marked improvement. Oh, I did it too early that time. Maybe you can just jump out of the way of it, but it seemed like the bolt was super chonky, such that that wouldn't be an option. I'm actually almost more scared of her attacks when she isn't merged, so there may be a sense to not doing that. Her attacks when she is merged are like, they're a lot more... They're less hectic, but they hit real hard in the one-hit kill territory at my current level, and are a lot harder to dodge. But let me put her back into merge mode and see if I can just time the reflection on some of these. Or maybe even just spam reflection a bit. Okay, it doesn't actually reflect it back at her as such. It just doesn't makes it so I don't die from it. But it didn't seem like it really stopped much. Like I blocked it and then she immediately was able to do another one of those. Maybe she's not armored for it though. Like maybe it's like I block one of them and then before she goes for the next one I can start a combo on her. Not sure. Or maybe it really just is with my current build and level. Don't do the merge. She's a lot scarier when there's only one of her. Oh, there's my leaf bracer coming in handy. So it makes you like entirely invulnerable in this game, I think, compared to Kingdom Hearts 1 where it just made you armored. Thank you. Bugger. The guard is definitely directional, but it's a pretty wide direction. So there's to a point if you guess like the right, within like 190 degrees of where she's attacking, you kind of get it. And also because he swings his hand around in an arc, right? Oh boy. So it's kind of like, it's a bit of like, you have an option, which is to wait till you can see her, at which point the dodge timing, the guard timing becomes a lot harder, because of course you have less time to do it. Or you can guess that and hope you get the right direction, in which case you will like 70% of the time. Which is an interesting way for it to be shaken up. I'm glad it gives us Donald Goofy for this, though, because I didn't really want to have to be forced to do it with Jack. Okay, we have to be careful and guard a whole bunch for this. I mean, you can basically mash guard for this, and you're all right. But that's her merging of her own volition, right? So I'm in the time where I have to be really careful for this lightning thing now. Yes, I think so. So I don't quite know how to protect myself but that's good to know. At some point she will just merge of her own accord. So it's not like I could go through this boss fight without her merging, which is good to know. I'm gonna have to square with it at some point. It gives you the option to do it as a reaction, as though it's more desirable to be only one of her, but her attacks are scary when she's like that. So I don't know. I think I'd probably prefer she stay like this for as long as possible. But I'm sure that's why it makes it so that she does it eventually. So you have to contend with both phases at one time or another. It's a shame there's no system in this game like in Kingdom Hearts 1 where you can like decide at what health thresholds your friends use items. So we got her down to like about a 3/4 health. Now she does this whole thing and merges herself. Again, the timing is pretty generous such that you can basically just mash for it. At this point I need to be very careful in waiting to reflect these. I'm just kind of mashing because I'm not yet good at the timing. Okay, but if you do it for long enough, she goes back into this mode. Oh, but things are new. She flies around now. Okay, the attacks are the same, though, but now she's really fast. Okay. But that's good to know now, because now what that means is... Oh, boy. Oh, no, that's new. What it means is I could get rid of my mana now, and it should be recharged by the time we get back into single Larxene mode, at which time... Oh, my God! At which time I'll be able to use Reflect again, he says, not having enough mana to use it now. Right, so you know what is probably important for this fight is mana stuff. Oh, I got another item slot at some point, right. I desperately need mana items. If I had more elixirs, that would be awesome. That's not realistic at this point. So I'm going to equip a bunch of ethers, because since I don't have anything that just makes me entirely invulnerable without mana, i.e. a dodge roll, I think what I ought to do is... learn the timings of all the scary lightning bolts she does. So there's I think when she's just by herself, it seemed like she had 2 lightning bolt moves. One was, she does like one little lightning bolt that kind of like bounces into a few, and then there's the one where she goes bang, bang, bang in the same spot with 3 huge lightning bolts. That one is a definite one-shot on me, it seems. They maybe both are, actually. So it seems like my strat at the moment should be, do the fight as I've been doing it when she's split into 2. When she's just one of her, I use my reflects anytime it's one of the, and she's just by herself, and she's using the huge lightning bolt moves. And then the second she goes back into 2 of her mode, I drain my mana right away. Or no, I just use an ether at that point, regardless of whether my mana is drained or not, so that I will have mana for more reflects later on. That seems to be my best play at the moment. Not fully understanding the breadth of her lightning bolty attacks. Whew, okay, let's do this. I'm ready for a fair few more hours of this. This is fun. What I don't know yet is, do they go for the merge, like the thing where they deliberately merge back into one Larxene at a certain health threshold? Or is it just a random thing, like they have a 1% chance to do it every attack or whatever? I would wager it's a matter of health threshold, because last time she did it, when she then unmerged back into 2 of them, they were faster again. So it made it seem like that was meant to be like a milestone in the battle. Like, get to a third of it, then they start going faster. That was a good day when they both attack right at the same time, because you can just block it at the same time and then whack them both. I also like that it's not just a consistent thing of whomever is farther away does the next attack. They'll sometimes fake you out, and so you'll be comboing one and expecting the other to attack you, and the other one will just wait. It's about how gutsy you feel about carrying on the combo on one of them. Not that one, Sora. The other one was right there. So one combo off the bat seems free, and then she goes into lightning stuff. Starting with... Okay, so there's that big one. Oh god, that lasts forever. I can't just run from that, can I? I didn't actually try, now that I think about it. You do run so slow in this game that I kind of assumed not. But I should probably stop assuming and start trying things. Okay, if you're mashing, then it will... There's no guarantee that you'll hit it at the right frames. I kind of assumed I was able to combo it fast enough that I wouldn't really have to time it. I was wrong. My apologies. I think we're going to have a few late uploads, because now I really want to try it, like, put like a bunch of hours into this fight. That was already a little behind the schedule at the time of recording. It's a shame that first teleport move she does. I think the laugh is, like, bugged on it and it doesn't happen. Because normally she laughs to let you know that it's happening even if you're not looking at it. Either that or I just can't hear her laugh over something else. Ooh. Resistance to Thunder would be maybe not a bad thing to equip right now, wouldn't it? I so often forget about the elemental defense things this game, because it's really rare that you have an opportunity where you're like, okay, I know the enemy I'm going to be fighting next is an elemental thing. Question is, if I went and got myself like a Thundaga armlet or whatever it is, and then threw a champion's belt on top to give myself like 36% Thunder defense, is it worth sacrificing my defense stat? And I'm going to guess so. It's worth a try anyhow. And it may actually be worth putting it on everyone as well. Because my friends can be a very valuable source of healing. Basically, for every item one of my friends has, or anytime Donald's got Cure prepared, it's like one more hit I'm allowed to take from some attacks. Where was the Bazooka thing again? There we go. Well, really, actually, it makes more sense. The Abbas chain is just a better version of each of these things, so if I'm doing anything, I may as well do these. This is armor, so how many armor slots do we have between the three of us? 2, 4, 6. So I may as well just get 6 for any time we want to be defending against a lot of elemental stuff. Yoink! There we go. An Abbas chain, if I'm saying that right, on everyone. Let's see how that does. I don't have any keyblades that do elemental resistances, do I? That wouldn't make any sense, but no. We're just all covered in chains. Let's give this a whirl. I don't expect it'll make a massive difference. Well, 36% compared to the 0% defense from lightning we had a moment ago. But I guess what I'm saying is I don't know how much of her damage is divided between physical and lightning. Or if that is even a system, I suppose. Like, I don't know if it's like one of her combos is like lightning, lightning, punch, punch, or something like that. So it might be that doing this as I'm doing it has lowered her defense to the point where the punches are doing enough that it kind of cancels out the benefit of what I'm doing with the lightning here, but we're about to find out. So I guess those ones are physical, because I definitely died faster to those than I do normally. I think normally I can take 4 or 5 of those, and that time I died to 3, but it might still be worth it to have it this way for when she does, like, the overhead lightning thing. I might now be able to, like, survive one of those. Oh, you can just run from those. Okay, I'm being an idiot by trying to run away anyway. I think I was at full health there, so I don't think that was actually helping, but you can just run from those, so I was being a moron by not. Did I have to jump, though? Was there going to be a shockwave on the ground that would make that more problematic if I wasn't jumping? Or was I just doing that on instinct and it was not necessary? Either way, the 36% lightning defense is not seeming to help us. It may be there's like a sweet spot where if I equip one that's really good defense and one of these lightning things, then I get the best of both worlds. I don't really feel compelled to fuss with it at the moment. I'll just leave it with the lightning defense as it is for a bit, and I'll swap it if I go for a while and feel like a change of pace, but I don't think my equipment's what's really gonna win me this. Yeah, see, she doesn't do the laugh on that first one, which is really weird. It always messes me up a little bit. But it's always that way on the first one, though, so at least it's something I can just memorize. At least if I hang out at a wall, I can be pretty sure she's not going to attack from the wall side, so I know I only have, like, really 3 cardinal directions to block. But of course it limits my movement. I love that he just throws them really hard into each other, and that's enough to merge them, though. That's really funny. So that attack just goes around her, and there's this one... Okay. You you can't just run. You have to do a run and a jump. So and I think the way it goes is she goes like bang 1, 2, 3, and then does it again. Bang 1, 2, 3. So you want to jump just far enough that the 1, 2, 3 ends, and you hit the ground so that you can jump again if she chooses to do it again, which I think she can. But that's the other blast she has that is. I thought what it was she struck the ground with lightning, and then like little balls of lightning bounced out. But it's actually just a pulse that comes out of her. So you kind of have to like. If you're not in the process of actually attacking her, get the hell away, basically, I think is what's going on there. And as far as I can tell, once she splits up again the second time, now it may be different on like the third or fourth time, the only thing that changes is that when there are two of her, they get a new move and they're a little faster. But the new move isn't even all that bad. It can be blocked and everything. It's not like an awful lightning thing that cheats. It's the thing where like 5 of her appear at the sides and they all converge, which you can, I assume, block from more or less any angle. Because whatever one reaches you first... Well, if you're in the middle, maybe, you could block it from any angle. Basically, you try and stand out of the way of them or jump over it, but you can, if you block the closest one, it gives you that little block invincibility thing until they're all gone anyway. So that one's pretty chill. I'm nervous about what happens when she's down to like 1 or 2 light bars, but... Well, we shall see. Oh, okay. Right, okay, I was expecting them to do the merge thing there, but apparently if you damage them enough and they don't choose to merge of their own accord, they will eventually just they'll do that and then go into fast mode. Okay, that makes enough sense. I actually don't know, does she take more damage when they're merged into one? Like when they're merged into one, does she take double the damage she would normally because they're both there, technically? No. Or is it just the idea that in theory it's easier to corner her when there's just one of her? When in reality I find those attacks harder to dodge, so far anyway. Oh bugger, I didn't see her because she was on the other side of Donald. Bugger! I pointed it the wrong way. Neither of my drive forms seem like the right call here, for one thing because I might turn into anti-Sora and I don't want that. And for another, mostly my strategy here is revolving around the blocking, which I do not possess in either of these other modes, so that's no bueno for me. Weapon clashing seems pretty useless in this fight is what I'm getting at, I guess. I've weapon clashed them a few times and I always come off worse, no matter how well I time it, so... I automatically lose every weapon clash, essentially, so it's virtually not a system for this battle, I think. Not lose in the sense of I immediately take damage, but I repel their attack, but then I'm left vulnerable for the next hit of it if it's a combo, which with her it usually is, so. I might just put on the one thing that does 3 defense and then have one Abbas chain. See what that does for me. I don't know if you can react to that one, like when you hear her go, "Huh!" I don't know if you can then, like, wait for that as your cue to jump, or if that's too late. And you have to just watch her movements. But it seems like she doesn't, after she does one of them, there's enough time for you to get in there and do a combo. Like, she doesn't immediately chain it to the next one necessarily, so you probably don't want to go too far away from her. Oh, I could have sworn I blocked that. Definitely one Larxene phase I don't really get yet, but it's because I enter it so rarely. Astonished I survived that. Might be that this balance of armor is working out better for us. Or maybe I just got lucky. Oh, I see. Sometimes her laugh bugs out in the middle of it. I see. So it's not actually just at the beginning. Sometimes if enough other noises are happening, the laugh just cuts out. I gotcha. Oh. Okay, I just overstepped a little there. And there's basically no protecting against that, because if that happens while you're in a combo, it hits you. There's no blocking, no reflecting. If you're in the middle of a melee attack, that gets you, so you gotta be careful about over-comboing that. The other one's just doing cartwheels in the background. Not even Larxene wants to help Larxene. God damn, that's sad. Ah. If you get struck with that lightning, you go into hit stun for like 2 seconds. So you're basically toast at that point regardless. Well, I guess maybe if I... You know, I can probably still use Reflect on that. Because now I know it's 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3. I can probably just go like Reflect for the first 3. Wait, Reflect for the second 3. That's probably not all that unreasonable. Actually, is that lightning really unblockable? That seems a little weird. If so, it seems like there would be no real reason to make that unblockable, like from a boss design standpoint, or from a logic standpoint, really. I mean, the rest of her attacks are lightning. It's not like you can't block lightning. Like, I get holding a metal thing in front of your face wouldn't normally stop lightning, but it clearly does for the rest of this fight. So for it to suddenly stop doing that makes obviously not like a sense from a logic perspective, but even applying a game design perspective, I don't really understand what forcing you to not block that really does. So I kind of doubt they would do it well, but I've also been shown to not really understand any of what they do in this game sometimes in certain fights. But so far, I'm getting the design of this one for the most part. Like, the whole revenge system of if you combo them too hard, they just get a free hit on you makes a lot more sense in this fight than Zexion. Because in Zexion, what that meant was a change back to the book dimension, whereas here it means you take damage, and in this case, die. So it's a lot more punitive here. Well, it's punitive in a different way here. In Zexion, it was punitive in the sense that he would sometimes then parry with a book capturing one of your friends, and sometimes do the parry that just auto-captures everyone. So it was punitive, sort of, but then also would just have a chance to just be kind of fine if he went for one of your friends instead of you. So there wasn't really enough feedback there to let you know, hey, you're messing up by over-comboing him here. Whereas here, it's really clear, like, you're comboing and then she just goes, now die, and you lose. So it's like, okay, definitely don't do that. That was obvious. Now, there's a limit to how much you can combo them, that's totally, and it doesn't, but not a limit in the sense of, if you get it wrong, the pacing of the boss fight will be different. In the sense that, of Zexion, where it's like, will phase change at a different time if you over-combo, which is just weird. Wouldn't have killed them to put some little thing that flashes on the screen that says, revenge, or something when you combo them too much, or like over-combo, or if you even, brought this up at any point in the game, but at least it's very clear what the punishment is for it in this one, and that's an intentional thing and not a bug. But also, so, with Zexion, some of the health threshold things where, like, you get him down to a certain amount of health and he just does the thing that catches everyone. But he can use the revenge thing to punish your combo with that same phase change, which made it really difficult to tell, okay, did that happen because I comboed him too much, or did that happen because the health was supposed to make that happen at some point? Whereas here, it's very clearly like it's a very clear you done goofed attack where she, like, while you're hitting her, teleports above you and just kicks you in the head and you die. Like, it could not be more clear that you've messed up and that there was nothing you could do. So it's clear that getting yourself into that situation at all was the problem, where it wasn't clear in Zexion's fight. I still think it's a kind of silly mechanic, especially to go unexplained, but this fight makes it very much more clear. Why would we go after that one, Sora? Still no word on when they'll fix the targeting, though. It's been about 20 years since this game came out. I'm not holding my breath. Oh, weird. I could have sworn I was holding down there. It's a bit weird that... Well, I guess it's not weird. I just don't really care for it myself so much that... I feel like if I'm holding a direction and I press the guard, like I did... Okay, wait. It kind of works like that, where you, like, if you press a direction... You can, like, guard behind you before turning. But I don't feel like it's usually working that fast as I would want in an actual fight proper, which is weird. It's working fine out here, actually. Actually, is this it's like a different mechanic. Sometimes he guards by, like, doing a twirl, and sometimes he just pushes it like that, right? I don't actually know what the difference is. I guess it depends whether you're pointing backwards and to the left or right of him. Either way, in that last time I died, what happened was I was doing an air combo, I landed and tried to immediately turn and block behind me, because I knew she was coming from there. And he seemed to block in front of him, even though I did what I was just doing outside of the battle there, and I just held back the direction I wanted to guard and pressed guard. It's a bit weird. Oh right, so I'm not supposed to hit there. Because what it feels... So what this is showing me is that what it should be is that I just press a direction and guard. Such that if I were to attack forward and hold down and guard... Okay, no, it doesn't... Okay, that's what's messing me up, and that's a really, really weird design choice. If I attack forward and land on the ground and hit down and guard, I would expect he does that. But it seems like there's a chance that he... Depending on where in the frame, in the animation you press it, that he will guard forward instead. There. So I was holding down and pressed guard, and he guarded forward. So it's like I guess it's to stop you from mashing, guard as soon as you hit the ground. They want you to go, "Huh," and then specifically hit the ground, turn, dodge. But it's weird when in other instances, holding the direction you want to block is okay. Sorry, I was saying dodge and I meant block. But only for this one specific thing, if you land and do it too fast, then it says, screw the direction you were pressing, we're just going to block forward. Very weird. Considering it does not work like that the rest of the time. But so be it. It doesn't happen, most of the time it doesn't happen that way, so that's more of a fluke when I die that way, which is okay with me, I guess. But yeah, just a weird choice. One of several this game seems to have. It's not too rare, though, for second entries in game series is to be really weird mechanics. They try and go very strange and creative with it. It makes it just bizarre. It seems to mostly be an issue when you're landing, though, from an aerial attack, that the block will malfunction like that. Just a hair too early. Well, it was a fair bit too early from the optimal time to guard that, but never mind that. It was a hair too early, okay? I was this close, you see. I missed! I can't believe I messed that one up. There was nothing happening. Nothing. I still blocked. I think we can all agree that that one, attempt number 857 or whichever, does not count. Okay, reflect in the air is a bad idea because, as we've established, you can't combo it, so you're going to be really vulnerable. I just missed again. That's the wrong button. I pressed heal instead of reflect. What I want to know about that fight, I'm going to just try and merge her as soon as possible here. What I want to know about that main, the version of her where there's just one, is it possible to, simply, oh god, is it possible to simply spam reflect through the 1, 2, 3 lightning and then immediately go for another combo on her, then back up, spam reflect? Because if you do it that way, we'll probably have enough mana to be fine throughout those phases, considering how much damage we'll do so quickly. I'm not quite sure what gives you the merge prompt. I think it's comboing one of them whilst the other is not in the middle of an attack, which may include comboing both of them at the same time. Okay, so I flubbed it there, but I think if I had struck a little faster there, and at that point really I should be targeting her because there's only one of her, and so it's not like the targeting will mess me up. Had I reflected those first 3 away and then just jumped to do another combo on her, I probably could have backed up and then reflected, kept doing that, and at some point she would have gotten fed up and split again, I imagine. Probably, hopefully, before I run out of mana. Again, you can jump over those, but it's quite difficult to do when she does it back to back, I would say. So it seems like the no-brain play would be to reflect that, which I would kind of prefer. Oh, okay, yeah, right, she can combo it. Yeah, if she can combo it, I don't know if the 4 that I have will be enough to survive. And it's not like I can mix in reflecting and running. If I'm reflecting, I stop dead. So it's not like I can like jump past one, then maybe it's like I jump and then reflect and then I don't know. Maybe it's just like I don't know. Considering it's such a like dexterity check because the amount of time you have to avoid to hit the merge is really slim. It seems like this is supposed to be a reward. Like, it's supposed to be ideal that she go into only being one of her, but the attacks are, like, so ridiculously more intense there that I can't see how it would be. I can't see who it would be better for, I guess. Which makes me feel like I'm missing something real big about why I should want her to be in that mode. Okay, no. So I fully used all 4 of them there, and she just chained 3 of them together. So you're definitely not supposed to reflect it, because you just instantly die. Well, there's an RNG. There's a chance of just instant death if you choose to reflect that move. So it's definitely not that. They want you to just run and jump with the right timing, I'm pretty sure. And this is another one of those situations where the boss can randomly choose to chain those together so many times in a row. So it's not like you can guarantee, I know, I block 2 of those and I'm good. It's like, I just have to keep doing it until they show some sign of stopping. Oh, if I pepper on little jumps, is it good? Maybe? It would make a lot more sense if you were allowed to block that, but it seemed to fail every time I tried. Okay, no, you're definitely not allowed to block it, so it's unblockable for reasons. Reflecting it, there's a random chance you'll just die. if she chooses to chain more than 2 of them together, or indeed if you ran out of mana. So they want you to do they just want you to jump over it with the right timing, fair enough. Or, you know, have some elusive skill that may or may not be in the game 10 years later. But for assuming that they playtested this enough to know that it was possible to play the fight at this point in the game because it was them who chose to put it in the game at this point, what they want someone at this point to do is jump over that. Fair call. I guess maybe the thing is to make sure you're not turning while you jump. Just make sure you run in a straight line and jump over that. I don't actually know how I survived that. I think maybe I weapon clashed her by accident in the air. That was very weird. Okay, I'm getting the hang of that. That's actually pretty reasonable. What I'm doing now is I'm just watching her hands, and the second she puts them down at the ground, I do my biggest jump. I don't know what this is though. Oh, okay, that just means she's splitting again. Okay, that's really chill. Now that I see it like that. That was just a little annoying because I had to wait till she was in the unmerged phase to even learn that move, which is why it took me like an hour and a half. It's actually really painfully straightforward. Good to know. But that didn't progress the fight any really at all. So I shouldn't do the merge when it gives me the opportunity at this point anyway. For me, I definitely prefer to stay in unmerged mode, because it didn't even advance them to the point in the fight where they're going speedy. So it's not like there's any benefit to having done that at all, really, for me in the way I'm playing this fight. Because it's not like I get to, okay, I can start the harder stuff now and get used to it earlier on. I really don't want the merge to happen because I find that harder to deal with, generally. So really the thing is, when she's by herself, her 2 main attacks are either a thing that chases you down no matter where you are, or a thing that is like to protect her, like it's a defensive attack that comes out of her. So you have to kind of get sort of close, but then quickly attacks that she doesn't have a chance to use the one that just hits all around her. Because then you will be mega screwed. And otherwise I'm just going to ignore the merge prompt because it seems to be better for me generally to just fight them unmerged. For the moment anyway. Sorry, just caught sight of Goofy twirling in the background as Sora's heart stopped. Look at me! Sora, check out what I can do! Oh no! There was an instance again where it just guarded in the direction he was already facing in spite of where I was pushing. Because I did it like the frame after I was done whatever other animation, so he didn't have a chance to start turning, I think is what's going on. When they go into the dark like this, that means, they're about to do, they're soon about to do this thing here. Oh, shoot. Goofy was in the way, so I couldn't see her do the next one. Actually, is there a way to tell Goofy to chill the hell out? Because I can't see when he does that. So when it says, while Sora attacks, party members will support him, I guess what that means is otherwise they're gonna, like, chill? Let's give that a try. So they are sticking by me this time, but that just means they're not blocking and they're dying a whole bunch. But it probably... So it means they're going to die a lot more, but at the very least they won't be blocking my sightline to her, so I guess that's probably for the better. It just means I have to watch my health a bit more, because I can't guarantee they'll always be alive to heal me. Right, well they only attack when I attack, though, and since I'm not doing that for a large part, they're just kind of standing there a lot of the time. It probably is better than them, blocking... Well, but is it, though? Every little bit of damage is probably counting here. And also, if they're going out to fight, then there's less... Because I'm deliberately standing in the path of the attack to guard it. If I tell them to just follow me, they're just gonna stand there and die. So that's probably... But the trick is, if I do anything else, if I set them to anything else, I think, then when we're in one Larxene mode, they're gonna run in front of her and I won't be able to see. Maybe I should just get better at seeing. That's what I'm gonna try and do. I'm gonna level up my sight in real life. They were fine as they were. I just need to be able to focus my vision a little bit. Really, I should just stand a little closer where possible, such that even if Goofy's doing something flashy, I can still see what Larxene's doing. Oh, you can interrupt her from that also, okay. Which makes sense, because otherwise he would just die if he tried to attack her when she was doing it. Oh, but if she gets it out, it still happens. But if she's in the middle of preparing it and you hit her, it's good. So you should really try and be offensive for that, it seems. If you're certain she's doing that one, not the other one. Good. Oh, I'm so glad they didn't give her armor for that, because then it would just be like Zexion, where it's just like, wait for this attack to be over. Which could take, 5 seconds or 50. Which is just utter garbage malarkey nonsense. I seem to remember thinking this was a bit of a thing in Kingdom Hearts 1 as well. I sort of wish it didn't, turn the camera so much if I'm not touching the stick or the targeting button. Like, I'm trying to focus on both Larxenes, and I do this, and it turns the camera away from that one. Regardless of where I push the stick or anything, so she's probably going to attack me now, but that was just a guess at that point. I don't see any reason why the camera should be turning without me touching the stick. Like, there's not one single reason that anyone could conjure, so let me try and think of one. To mess with you in this fight specifically, that's all I can get. Because it's not like it helps me aim. It's a melee attack that auto-targets them if you're anywhere near them. So it just turns the camera for no reason whatsoever. Well, actually, I guess it does that when you walk as well, so it's not just for the battles. But yeah, that's a very, very silly choice. Well, I think it's a silly choice. I don't see how it could benefit anyone. It seems like it's the only point would be to disorient you in a fight like this. Does it happen when you're... Oh, okay, no, fair enough. It happens when you walk in the normal thing. I don't really care for when games do that, generally, but at least it has a point when if you're exploring an area and I wasn't touching the stick, this helps because then I can still see where I'm going when I turn. To me, if you're going to put a camera control in the game, don't hijack it at any point for any reason, but at least I take that back. It doesn't have no point. It's very stupid in a fight, obviously, but I can understand them being like, well, we already designed it that way for the exploration. I don't want to change the camera for the battles. And most of the time, it's not a big deal, so fair enough. Fair play for not spending resources fixing that. Actually, it would be easier if I were playing with a mouse and keyboard for that specifically, because my attack button and moving the camera are on the same implement, so I could be attacking and still looking behind me and stuff. Whereas here, because it's the right stick, I can't really do A and the right stick at the same time. I'd have to crab claw it. So I just have to trust that the camera does not screw me over, sadly. Again, most of the time it doesn't matter. Well, in most fights it doesn't matter, but in this fight even still, it barely matters because usually if the other one's attacking, you get the audio cue of her laughing. But because that sometimes bugs out and doesn't happen, it would be nice if they just wouldn't turn the camera so I could always see where I'm trying to see. But, alas. You're really generous with giving me that one. So this one is definitely tough, and there are a few things where it's like, okay, well, I wouldn't have had it like that if I had it my way. But for the most part, at the moment, this feels... It doesn't feel nearly as broken as Zexion, though. Having played it now for a few hours. This is totally fine. Most of my gripes are like, it's a little annoying, mostly just because I die so quickly, which is, of course, because I'm underleveled. And that's fair enough, because at least now I know I'm underleveled. Well, I mean, I figured that out with the Zexion fight as well, but with the Zexion fight, I was like, yes, I'm underleveled for this, but I'm certain there are a few things of this that would still be broken if I was the right level. Whatever that mystery number is. Whereas here, I'm like, the reasons I'm having difficulty with completing it are because it's designed to be challenging at any level, but in particular at this level, if I mess up, the consequences are much more dire. Rather than with Zexion, where it's like, I'm pretty sure no matter what level, they still have you do the stupid musical chairs thing at the end. And it probably insta-kills you. I would say not regardless of level, but probably like a fair ways into any level. Like, I doubt that just does like a bit of health when you're level 40 or whatever, you know what I mean? That seems like the sort of thing that's supposed to insta-kill you, or at least do an exceptional amount of damage. Oh, okay. They do have a few new moves around this point in the health bar. Oh, they wait so much there. Okay, yeah, you really do have to actually just try and time it. You can't predict. Well, you probably can predict it, but they want you to just time that one rather than with some of the other attacks where they want you to kind of be prescient about it. It's gonna be scary when they mix those in with the other moves, though. I guess if you went into Valor mode during single Larxene mode, you could just outrun those lightning things. But I don't want to be in Valor mode for when we go back to double mode. I don't know. Maybe it's worth trying out, though. And maybe just like instant revert the second we go back to double mode. Oh god, the game like hung there. Did you see that? That was awful. Okay, so that was a revenge thing, clearly, because it happened mid-combo, so I went too hard. I went too offensive there. So Valor mode seems to be kind of pointless, then, in this, if the revenge builds that quickly, that I wasn't even able to get one combo. Well, I got, like, the first combo, and that was all. I'd rather just do what I've been doing, I think. Gives me less to worry about. I'm dealing damage less quickly this way, but I'm still dealing it at a comparable, like, I'm doing it less in succession, but still at a comparable rate overall this way, I think. Like, maybe there's some convoluted way if I had turned Valor mode on there that I could go, like, I could, like, do a half a combo on her, and that wouldn't build the revenge up fast enough for it to be an issue, but it already sounds like way too much effort to me. I'd be putting way more effort into it than the game designers did in explaining that mechanic anyway, which is more than I can abide. No one look at me. Wait, did he aim that at the wall? Is there like a lore reason why they don't say anything, they just laugh in these fights? Maybe it was like they didn't have some of the writers from Recom, so they're like, we don't know how these characters are supposed to speak. I guess we won't write any dialogue for them, they'll just laugh. That was weird. It blocked to the right when I was holding up and left. And he wasn't even facing to the right. He was facing down. I put up and left, and he went right. I don't... So did he do that because there was a Larxene on his right? I wonder. So if it chooses to auto-target the wrong one... Oh yeah, it happened again. He blocked to the right. So you want to, okay, so you want to stand as far away, you don't want to, like, it's not cool to stand next to a Larxene while there's a Larxene attacking you, because otherwise he automatically blocks in the direction of the one that's standing closest to you. Regardless of if they're attacking, and they won't be. If they're standing, I mean. Very weird. It's again it's the same mechanic by which that has happened earlier, where I'll hit attack on the one who's right near me and he'll jump across the stage to get to the other one. Because the targeting is, not built right, but this is the first time I've seen it actually messing up my guard. But that's an easy fix, just don't stand near a Larxene. And then the one that's closest will be the one that you're actually trying to block, who's the one who's teleporting to you. Sometimes will be easier said than done, but most of the time that's pretty an easy ask. To not stand near one while you're waiting for them for the next block opportunity. I was lucky it didn't auto-target the wrong one. No, he targeted the one on the right. Yeah, that's dumb. That shouldn't happen. It should not be that you know what direction it's coming from, you point in that direction, and he decides to do something else regardless of what you press. To be clear, that makes sense if I'm deliberately locked on, like if I'm doing this, then I should be able to running away and press guard and he'll guard in their direction. Not if I'm deliberately avoiding the targeting, because the only reason I would be doing that is if I thought there would be someone who was attacking me who was different from the one the yellow target would be on. Wow, twice in a row it happened. It's weird that now that I know it's a system, I'm noticing it happen more. Well, I guess what it is I just thought I was messing it up before, but I was actually doing it right before, and this system was screwing me over. That's a shame. I guess it's a hazard of hanging around the wall like this, is it's more likely you're gonna end up next to one of them. Well, actually, that system is benefiting us in some instances, because it means that I could be aiming wrong, and it'll guard against the one who teleports towards me. But it depends on what time you do it as well, I suppose. Whether it plays to your benefit or immediately screws you over. I kind of wish it just left alone and just guarded in the direction you press, but whatever. I will confess I missed the X button that time. I just slapped the side of my controller with my thumb, somehow. Ah, wow, okay, that's really screwing me over now. I don't know how it wasn't a problem for me the first few times, but this, now that I know it's a thing, it feels like it's happening 5 times as much. What do I do about that? Because if it happens like that I'm close to her, There's no jumping over the front flip. There's no weapon teching the front flip. It must be guarded at this point. And if the guard is unconditionally going to target the wrong person, I die. So I don't know why it's happening. I know why it's happening. I don't know why it was decided that it should happen that way. When I can clearly know where I'm supposed to block and press that direction. It shouldn't block elsewhere for factors out of my control. But yeah, I don't know why it wasn't messing me up earlier as much. But now it's like that's what's killing me every single time. Damn it. Because I have to guard that early if it's the fast one that she just did. But you could see I was running in the correct direction, and it just... Because she hadn't spawned in yet, it decided to do this one instead. That's really busted. So I guess that's one reason you might want to deliberately force them to merge, but... I guess if I could just make sure I keep on getting far away enough from the last one I attacked, it won't be an issue, I guess. Oh god, Goofy was blocking that, so I didn't see that coming. Why is it going down? No. Up. Continue. There wasn't like a setting or a skill I could disable this auto lock-on thing with, right? I don't think so. I think this is just a default mechanic of the game. I don't think there's any way to disable that. Oh, the camera will move automatically. Oh, okay. Thank God. I did not realize this was an option. I'm so sorry. Jeez, that's gonna make things a lot easier. Where have you been all my life? Oh, thank God. Oh, that's so much better. Thank you for putting that as an option. Doesn't help the lock-on thing, but it's an improvement. Oh, that's so much better, thank God. I can actually see! It's such a happy day! I can't believe I missed that in the options the first time I looked at them right in the beginning of the game. Oh, look how much easier this is already, okay. I'm not gonna, like, instantly definitely win now, but, like, that's a massive improvement. Oh God, we're doing this! When does this stop, by the way? Oh, there, then. Exactly then, apparently. No! Oh, boy. Ah, too early. Okay, but... so it seems like when they're doing that move, you basically just wait around for it to be done. But you see how much of a massive improvement the camera not deciding it knows better than me is? It actually is helping with the auto lock-on as well, because... Before it would turn the camera all the way sideways while I'm doing other stuff and just target the wrong, and so the auto lock on would be like, oh, you want to point over there as well? And so the camera and the auto lock on would be fighting me the whole way. Again, twice in a row. But it's still an improvement. Goofy's little still makes me laugh, even after all these games. I don't suppose there's any way to stop that. Maybe if you can get a combo in edgewise in between those little missile moves. Something to be good for you, but I ain't too sure. Sorry, I know this makes the whole thing a little less presentable. I'm going to turn off the light in front of me here just because it's distracting me a little bit. I probably won't get this today, but may as well give myself the best chances by making it a little more comfortable, even if it looks less nice on camera. The light distracting me is okay for the rest of the game because the rest of the game is not as hard. And most of the stuff we do on the channel, I would say. But when it's something like this, then it's just like, it just demands this level of focus for this extended period of time. I just gotta turn that light off. Oh, damn, okay. You gotta be really ready to guard that one. Ah, keep hitting the mouse. Move my camera in weird ways. It'd be so interesting to do these boss fights while wearing an eye tracker, so you can see what my eye focuses on at a given moment. So I'm spending the majority of the time looking at the other Larxene than the one I'm hitting, which is interesting. Oh, interesting. In this phase, they can instantly chain it into another attack without getting staggered into a combo. Other than that, though, it doesn't seem massively upgraded. I don't know why this other one isn't fighting at all. Why are we targeting that one? It really surprises me that didn't make it, that slipped through the cracks of QA. Not that game design is easy or that QA is easy, but like, how do you miss that? Or was that like, is that exclusive to the PC version that the blocking is so busted like that? Considering how many moves and like special techniques rely on you to be facing the right way, or rely on the distance between you and your target. Well, actually, I suppose also, I'm judging it based on the current gaming climate, which would allow them to patch it later if, you know, consumers got a hold of it and were like, hey, why is the product broken? But really, Final Mix was not in that era either. Final Mix was... Well, I don't know when Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix was, but it was like pre-2010s, I think. I could be totally wrong about that. Not early enough that it's fair for to judge them for that, I guess, really. When that appears, you got to block it so fast! I was so far away from that, from the other Larxene, I mean. So far, I'm seeing some similar problems to the Zexion fight in terms of, like, the game's basic design does not really work for what they're trying to design the boss like, but it's much less egregious. It feels like they had a Zexion fight for this one at some point as well, but then there was one person somewhere along the line who looked at it and said, hey, this isn't reasonable, is it? And then they were like, you're right, we should fix this before we sell this. And they didn't quite manage to fix all of it, but most of it. Can't believe he missed. How is that possible? I forgot to do it. I was just like, oh yeah, darkness means we're going to merge again. It just did nothing. I didn't feel like I did that wrong. I jumped too early or too late? Or was I curving or... Not too sure. Oh, that's new. God, that was scary. What the hell was up with that? It didn't matter because we were so far away, but the next one did. I hit her and then she just kind of... I think what she did was she sprinted up to me and then she did the one that attacks from around her, which I didn't know was going to happen, obviously, because that was the first time ever seeing that bit. So I think what they wanted me to do was just keep running. But I'd have to see it again, which hopefully I will. Or maybe since she kind of runs forward with it, I'm able to block it. Probably not. Historically not. I just stood there and blocked thrice. I was like, okay, now guard that. Now the next thing is guard? No, it's not that. You're probably supposed to guard. Also, rip if you had to play this in a lower resolution. Like 480p when it came out. Because it would be so hard to tell what was going on. Man, I can't believe it thought I wanted to target that one. I will say this, and this is probably the only time I'll ever say this in my life. I think something that the Zexion fight did right was that the revenge attack doesn't kill you, it just pushes you back. I mean, I think it's a much more fair punishment to push you back for doing too much combo than to outright kill you. As I said before, though, at the very least, this gives you a good sense that you've done goofed. So at least you know that comboing them over and over is not what they want. I mean, over and over in a row without letting them attack. Again, it's not that I don't get that an infinite allowing the player to infinite combo the boss would be bad because the bosses are brain dead and will easily be comboed. Like they'll just walk right into your hits because they're too strong to need to be smart. So they haven't given them an AI that like tries to get out of the way of attacks or anything. They just kind of stand there and go like duh, while you hit them. So I get that if you let the player just do that infinitely till they were dead, there's no boss fight. I just don't like that I have to sort of prance around the bush and guess about if I'm dealing too much damage in a combo or not. Just a little meter or something would be the bare minimum, really. Like a little meter that fills up to show me when I'm comboing them too hard. And if I fill it up, then they get a free attack on me. Because then it's not something where I'm kind of being like, I don't know, should I hit them or not? Maybe they'll hit me. It's like, oh, okay. There's a limit to how much I can hit them, and I know precisely, like I'm thoroughly sufficiently educated on what that limit is. Her laugh cut out. It's so funny. Oh. So is that an RNG thing? She can sometimes start with that one such that your combo gets you killed? Because I've never seen her do that before. Yeah, you know what? I can see I'm making a deadly mistake by trying this one this early again. I'll just wait till I'm a higher level. This one's more fair. I can say that for it. That was pretty rad. Definitely better than Zexion. I'll break it down for you more tomorrow. Or later, anyway. I don't know if I'll record it tomorrow. But we done did it. Cloaked Thunder and a Lost Illusion. Let me save that right quick, please. Okie doke, so I'm back here, and yeah, that was pretty rad, that fight. That fight was like 80% good fight with like 20% glaring flaws, whereas the Zexion fight was like 80% glaring flaw with 20%. There was a bit of good fight thrown in there, just a pinch, at least for my tastes. Our mana bar got extended, is that right? Sweet doggy. That's a big deal in this game considering it auto recharges. I don't want this episode to be hugely long, so I won't recap for super long, but I jammed with the idea that this a boss fight was a lot more... It was a lot more possible to like just be focusing on like blocking and parrying, not even necessarily parrying in the literal sense of like using the counter guard skill, because I disabled that one, I'm pretty sure, in the end. Because it was messing me up, yeah. Just get that back on, and this one, and this one. But just in the sense that the fight, it was a lot more possible to like play it like a video game fight where you read their attacks, learn their attacks, get out of the way of their attacks, and then punish them for it. And everything they did had a sort of advantages and drawbacks to it, for the most part. The revenge mechanic really needs to be explained, period. That's just a design failing of this game. And I say that because once I began to understand a bit more of it, the way it worked with that fight particularly, it was a lot more fun. I actually felt comfortable dealing with it, and it was an interesting mechanic. Because so for instance, when she's in the split modes, if you hit her at all and she staggers, then she parries with the thing once she gets out of stagger, she parries with the front flip. If they're in split mode and you combo them really excessively, she does the thing where she teleports above you and kicks you in the head and you die. If you're in the split mode and you combo the both of them a fair bit all at once, they do the thing where they go back into merge mode, which is interesting because it implies a bit of strategy on the part of the AI, in the sense that the AI realizes, okay, we're getting our ass whooped when we're split, maybe merging is the better option here, which is a cool idea. I just wish there was some visual threshold to show you when you're hitting them just enough that they'll do the front flip, when you're hitting them enough that they'll do the merge, and when you're hitting them enough that they'll just kill you. And again, I understand that maybe that one where she teleports above you and kicks you in the head wouldn't be a one-shot on when you had higher stats and everything, but it's unavoidable damage is the point. It's not like you could hit her that much and then use the reflect. There's just no time. It just happens instantly and you die. Or get hit, anyway. But point being, I don't mind that as a mechanic as long as it's kind of, like, clear when it happens. And it's not like Zexion where you hit him and at some point he'll do the twirl and either do the one that hits everyone or the one that doesn't. And it's just kind of up to whoever cares. Like, it's not... It might be consistent, but that's not clear, anyway, in the gameplay. I really strongly believe that there should be, like, a revenge bar underneath their health bar that as you whack them, it fills up, and it, like, lights up with, like, a red section, a blue section, and a yellow section to let you know this is, like, their revenge level 1 attack they're going to use, revenge level 2, revenge level 3. So if it's the one where, for instance, she teleports above you and kicks you in the head, I would know never to fill the bar up that much by comboing them that much, kind of thing. And I think there are a lot of mechanics in games like this where they avoid explaining them because they think either that A, it'll like ruin the mystery if you know what's going on, or B, they think the most players won't understand it. I don't think either of those is a good excuse for not explaining how the game works, personally. Nor do I think it's especially hard to explain. Again, maybe I have some of the details wrong, but I think it wouldn't be too hard in the tutorial section of the game when they're like teaching you how to walk and stuff, which as far as I'm concerned is almost as integral to surviving this boss fight, walking, as understanding the revenge mechanic. You would think they would just say, the more you combo an enemy at once, the stronger their kickback will be. But fine. But this fight was a lot better suited to the point in the game at which it unlocks it for you. And again, I understand that it unlocks it way early because of stupid reasons, and really they want you to be doing it later, but no game designer would unlock a boss fight and not realize people are going to try it at the time it is unlocked. And this fight, even though the odds are dramatically stacked against you because most things will be one-shotting you at this point in the game, there's a much clearer effort to say, okay, we want them to do it later when they've got better skills, but is it feasible and enjoyable to do it at the level at which we unlocked it here? And I would say the answer is yes, for the most part. And by the way, I don't think this Thunder Resistance was doing really anything for me there. I think I made it worse by not equipping the big defense stuff. Looking back on it in the little bit I did get to edit already. Skill in crossbones. But yeah, just rattle through a few of the other things I dug about that boss fight. I dig that this is the first time I can remember in this game that we've had a reaction command that wasn't just kind of like press Y to continue the boss fight or press Y to do a lot of damage. It was something you actually had to time by hitting them while they're getting launched out of the air by one of your combos. And there was actual strategy to whether or not you wanted to use it, because the single mode of her, single Larxene mode, is not a universally better thing to fight. It's not necessarily always the thing you want to do. Particularly with me and my build and my options, it was actually usually the thing I didn't want to do. Because, so the fight, as far as I can understand, was more or less broken up into 3 phases, each of which differed depending on whether Larxene was split or single. So they're kind of 6 phases when you think about it like that. First phase is max health down to when she's got 4 bars left-ish. And then the second phase starts at around 2 1/5 health bars. Did I say the second? I'm at the third. And final phase begins when she's at 2 and a bit health bars. So first phase is split Larxenes. They either do the little like the little sweep kick twice in a row, or they do the front flip thing twice in a row. They teleport at you to do that. If you're comboing one of them, the other one will eventually go, hey, stop that, and do an attack. If you manage to stagger one of them because they're no longer in armor, then they will riposte with their own front flip. If you combo either of them too hard, they either, depending on how much you're comboing them, just do the thing where they kick you in the head and you die, or they do the merge of their own accord. Phase 1 single Larxene. I eventually decided to just never go into Phase 1 single Larxene because I just didn't care for it. She's got one attack where she goes, yeah, and it goes 1, 2, 3 lightning bolts that chase you, but she can combo it up to 4 times. And the timing for it is really awkward to dodge, and you can't block it. So I was like, screw that. Let's just avoid Phase 1 single. Which, again, it's cool that I was able to formulate a strategy that did that. Had an attack at first I didn't like, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take steps to avoid it by not letting them merge and not doing the reaction at that point, or really at any point, which is awesome. In more or less all versions of single Larxene, she has this move where if you're close to her, she goes, yeah, and a lightning bolt strikes her, and then 4 lightning bolts strike beside her. Which I think you'll see I did in the success attempt, and in several attempts, I just cast Reflect when she did that, and then... So I got to learn how Reflect works, which is cool, because I didn't really understand it before. Basically, if anything hits you while the barrier's up, then when the barrier dispels itself, a bunch of little, like, laser balls come out and smack them back for it, which then lets you go into a combo, which is cool. When any of the 3 phases goes from split to single, the way they do it is... the sky goes dark and they both do the teleport thing at once, and then it's like a horde of them comes at you, just like punching at you, basically. You can block it once and then you're invincible for the rest of it. Then they do the thing where they swirl around you and go into again, you can just block that. And then finally Larxene slams down, you can block that and then carry on with whatever you're going to do. Or what I was usually doing by the end was I block the horde of them punching, I block the swirly thing, and then I reflect the last hit so I can start her phase with a combo on her. Which, in Phase 2, very, very often, I would say like 85% of the time, resulted in her just saying, okay, screw this, and splitting up again, which was awesome, because then I never had to hang around in single phase, because I find most of her single phase attacks a lot scarier There's a lot of, like, lightning comes down from the sky in one frame and one-shots you, and it can't be blocked, can't be run away from, and has to be jumped over at, like, a very specific angle. So I didn't care for it, and I tried to avoid it as much as possible. I think Phase 2 Split was where I was enjoying the fight the most. So they still have the thing where they teleport away, come back to you, and front flip, but now they're moving around really fast. And every now and again, and now they're parry moves. So if you stagger them, instead of doing the front flip, which is what it was in Phase 1, after you stagger them, they then come back at you with the thing where they appear on both sides of you and, like, charge into you. The Larxene missile thing. But there's two different versions of the Larxene missile thing, which is where the two Larxenes decide to do an attack together, and they either appear at 5 corners of the arena and attack the middle, or they appear in 5 on the other end of the thing and go towards you, which if the block timing is very different for, because one of them delays and one of them doesn't. And so that was kind of fun, because you were kind of trying to find the gaps between when you blocked their front flip thing to deal damage to them without dealing so much that you overextend and stagger them such that they do the really awkward thing where they do the missiles from right in front of you. But then also you got to be ready at any moment for them to do the thing where they teleport to the corners together, and because the timing is really, really fast for that, which I thought was very fun. I did, however, think that so whenever they do the cooperating thing where they do the split into 5 thing at the corners or split into 5 at the far end. They can choose to combo that together a lot of times. I get the sense that, and so whenever they finish one, they like port back to the middle and then port out again, if they're going to do another one. I got the sense that when they port back to the middle, the game is expecting you to be able to hit them. So I guess later on we'll get some skill that makes us move fast enough for that to be a possibility, but at the moment, unless I was maybe in the middle, but it's harder to block then. For the moment, it seemed the best thing to do to stay at the wall and just wait that out. But it sucks a bit because it, as far as I understand, is completely random how many they choose to do in a row. They could do 1 and then go back to doing the front flips, or choose to just merge, or they could do like 20. There didn't really seem to be an upper limit. I'm not saying there wasn't, there wasn't evidently one. And you'll note, I'm pretty sure even in the success attempt, this will happen where whenever they do that, I'm just hanging around looking at the screen and tapping square when they get close. And if it's the 1 in 5, maybe I'll run up a little closer just to make the timing easier and then do it. And it's just a lot of waiting around. So that was one thing I didn't really care for, but I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt that they're expecting you to be able to punish that by moving really fast. So that would explain why it would be a little less boring. And then at some point they will choose to do the merge of their own accord anyway. Until you get to 2 and a bit health bars, where split phase changes to be a cacophonous nightmare where they go back to doing the sweeps and the front flips, except the sweeps now hit like 4 times and the front flip like 3 times. So it's very awkward to block for an important reason that I'll get to in a bit. Primarily, they're interested at that point in merging, and then when she merges at 2 and a bit health bars, she either immediately goes to the center to do this, or does one, like 4 lightning bolts on you and then goes to the center, which I think is what happened in the success attempt. And she does this awful thing where she goes, and like starts like shooting lasers out of her and twirling around, and then lightning bolts also come from the sky to hit you, which I tried to avoid several times and had no luck. I tried just tank reflecting my way through it. It lasts too long for that to be realistic. I tried jumping over the first lightning bolt that strikes you. I couldn't even get past the first lightning bolt, so I don't even know if it's possible to jump over the lasers that are coming out of her hands. I just said screw it at some point, and used Donald's Trinity limit, which I found, sorry, not his Trinity limit, but his limit, Comet, which I eventually found is very, very good. I didn't realize quite how much damage it dealt, which is probably because I didn't read the book until partway through my attempts on that battle, which took me, I'm not sure how long just yet. I think it was maybe not quite as long as Zexion, but getting there. But you'll have seen it already by the time this is edited. I'll have put in a little note that said how long it took me. But in the book it specifically says, and I appreciate this, Comet Rain is a finishing move that is executed around Sora, moving close to the enemy to get as many hits as possible, and Sora can move freely during this limit, so stay close and attack away. So as you can see, what I was doing was using Comet and then just basically running up to the opponents and giving them a whack here and there. And I also learned during this time that ethers are way more useful than I realized, because I assumed since the MP gauge does not start regenerating when you're in a limit, that it wasn't technically exhausted, and so that items wouldn't really do anything for you there. But I was completely wrong. As you saw in the fight, what I was able to do was start chugging ethers intermittently with attacking while Donald is doing the comet thing, and so you can just refill your mana mid-limit to do another one right again, which is pretty neat. Obviously, it would have been better if we had more elixirs, and dare I say even a mega elixir, but the ethers worked well enough for it, because it actually fills up about half, so you can just use 2 to fill up the whole thing, even while it's not recharging, i.e. when you're in the middle of the limit. And since I've got 5 items, I was able to do that twice. I was gearing up to do it a third time by the time we defeated her, because it does, like, as I said, kind of ludicrous quantity of damage. But the thing is, it's a little awkward to time it, because you don't have a great deal of control over where they go at what times, and they're invincible for a lot of it because they're invisible for a lot of it. And also they're invincible when they're doing the merge thing. Like when the sky goes dark and they start disappearing. They're not even armored, straight up invincible, attacks go right through them for some reason. So yeah, again, another instance where it's a bit weird, and like I don't understand why they're invincible. You would think they would just be armored for the merging, but again, much more sparse, the weird and uncouth design choices in this one, I would say. So overall, I was ultimately able to just say screw the last phase entirely. I'm not doing any of it because I'm going to use no items till that point, and I'll have a whole 3 full mana bars to do 3 comets, 3 Fantasias. But that was cool. I was ultimately mostly pretty happy with it. The big flaw that I want to get to in a moment. Just want to check my notes first. Oh yeah, and this is the first thing it says in my notes, which I should have said earlier. This is the most fun I've had in a boss fight in this game at all yet. Yeah, even if the phase 2's like thing where she can do the missile like 20 times in a row without stopping is kind of bogus. The process of swapping from blocking the front flips to blocking that missile thing is pretty cool, because you have to be pretty fast and composed to get it right. It was more fun the first 400 times I did it than the final, but never mind that. But the major issue I had with this is the auto target is very strange. So I think I did include this. I've started to edit the video you're watching currently because I'm recording it in separate parts. I was able to start editing before I finished recording it. And this is a thing I found out pretty early on, I think, was that doing the actual lock-on is dodgy, because if you're locked on to one Larxene and the other one comes from behind you, even if you turn around and guard, it doesn't let you. It automatically will guard you in the direction of the one you're locked onto, which I don't especially care for, but it's fair enough. I understand the design behind that. It makes sense that you would want, in most cases, to block towards the one whom you are targeting. Fair enough. Were it up to me, there would be a thing in the config menu that is block in lock-on direction on or off. But it's not up to me. However, my solution to that was, okay, well, let's not lock on it on then. I'll just try and point myself toward the correct one at any given moment. And the auto lock on will sort of help me there. Trouble is, the guarding thing also works this way for the auto lock on, which you have no control over. Well, you have limited control over, as I'm sure several of the clips that are playing on screen will be able to demonstrate to you. There were several times that it happened where I was clearly closest to one of them, running in their direction, facing in their direction, and pressed guard, and it would just target someone, and they were attacking me and the other one wasn't, and it would face the other one who was farther away from the camera, farther away from Sora, not where Sora was facing, not attacking, and just very obviously not the one I was trying to guard against. So there are some instances where if the auto-target screws you over, there's just nothing you can do. Because, for instance, the front flip can't be jumped over, really. Can't really be outrun in that way. Like, at the level we're at, the only 2 options really to deal with it are guard it or reflect it. And since I wouldn't want to burn my mana, because otherwise I'd be caught out later on and not have enough to do Donald's Comet with the strategy I was employing, and more importantly, I shouldn't have to because I should be able to guard it, I was always trying to guard it, and several times, like, I would say a good 30% of my deaths on the fight generally were because I was the auto target just utterly broke down, didn't work correctly at all, and targeted the complete wrong one that there was no reason whatsoever to target at all. So that was in a word, frustrating. Very much so. I once again found myself cursing the very earth that raised me. So that's kind of the major thing where I'm like, for the most part, it feels like they designed this with the intent that at this level, if you're sharp enough with your blocking and avoiding the attacks, it's still possible, just a little awkward to do this fight. With the exception of the auto-target, it feels like there really just wasn't enough time spent doing what I was doing, playing the fight that way, and seeing, is our system tightly designed enough to where this is reasonable? And the answer is no. But I found it much less frustrating than Zexion, and I was much more keen to stick with it in spite of all that, although I did give up several times in the middle and then come back to it like hours later. I was much more keen to stick with it because the rest of the fight was designed much more beautifully, I would say. Anyway, that's about all I had for this episode. I just wanted to wrap up my thoughts on that, but a vast improvement over the Zexion fight, for sure. I cannot believe they chose to do the Zexion fight first. Even, like, the gimmick itself is a lot more manageable and logical in this one than the Zexion's, I would say. But I just wanted to head over to the store and pass them that new blueprint we got, and the new materials. Here you go, here you go. So there'll be a new recipe for a shock charm. Oh, God. So the Shadow Archive, this is the recipe we got from Zexion, requires... Okay, so Lost Illusion actually is the same material we got from Zexion, now that I think about it. I was assuming that each of the recon fights were going to give us a different material, but it isn't so. So we need Remembrance Gem and 3 Remembrance Stones, good golly. So presumably illusions are all going to be gotten from strange boss fights or some such. But the Remembrance chain of materials we've never seen once yet. I somehow get the sense they'll also be from some weird minigame like the Tranquility set, but I could be totally wrong about that. But Shock Charm, I'm going to guess that it makes you utterly immune to lightning or something like that, considering we got it from Larxene. Maybe that's what the Shadow Archive does as well for darkness. Nevertheless, nothing we can make out of that right now, and I'm down a few materials because I ended up making another Mega Potion because I thought having 2 was going to be necessary when I initially came up with the plan to use Donald's Comet. I didn't realize that I could use the Ether's mid-limit, so I assumed the next time I was going to be able to use it, by the next time I was going to be able to use Comet, Donald would be down again and I'd have to resurrect him. And so I figured I'd need a second Mega Potion, so I used one of our Energy Stones to get us that, in spite of the fact that we only had 3 Mithril Shards, which I now realize was kind of a mistake, because we didn't actually need the 2 Mega Potions in the end. But that's alright. I stand by the thought process. We are very much out of potions and ethers, though. Let's grab, like, a whole bunch of both. 30 potions is probably fair, and ethers, now that I'm realizing how useful they are, let's grab 10. Because I might want to do that again in a later fight. Just chain several limits together by eating ethers in the middle of them. But yeah, my apologies. I'm pretty sure this episode will again have stretched on to be a pretty long one, since there's just a lot of talk about that boss fight in here. And I obviously didn't know when we began this episode that 10 minutes in we'd be getting into a boss fight that would take us the rest of the episode and several days of my life. But there you have it. I much more enjoyed the experience of going after that one underleveled than going after Zexion underleveled. Next video on the channel is gonna be some... Afterwards will be some more of this, Kingdom Hearts 2, where we'll be heading, hopefully finally finishing Port Royal, and I guess moving on to Atlantica or something. We shall see. Oh god, have I got new missions already in this place? Oh no, just for completing the Absent Silhouette. It's marked as new, right. So that's all for now. Thank you so very much for coming in. Hopefully I'll see you around. Admiral's gonna be out of here now. Peace! And I've been told that gets you good things if you slash them while they're black and white. Maybe? Maybe? Or maybe I'm being dumb. No, okay, maybe it's a thing. Anyway. Admiral, why would I turn? Oh, fine. This battle's over. Our enemies over here. By the way, at the enemy